Hey y'all, welcome back to Babeinlibrary. It's your girl Lisa, and today we're going to read the book that's been on my Kindle Unlimited checkout since October 2023. Hey y'all, so I don't necessarily know what this video is going to be, whether it's going to be just reading the oldest book on my Kindle, or if it's going to be a week in winter blog. But all I know is I'm starting with A.E. Valdez, Winter's Eve, Then Now Always, which is the second in the Three Kings Billionaire series. And this is a second chance romance featuring a couple who was either once engaged and or married and now are divorced. I believe that they got married, but grief settled in at the time of them planning their wedding. So I don't even know if they made it down the aisle yet. I am just getting started. And I already know that A.E. Valdez is ripping my heart to shreds. Now, this is the second book in a series. And I encourage you to go back and read Snow King Catches a Snowflake so you can really see where the burn started to come and the flame started to flicker again for this couple when one of the brothers, which was Snow King, he wind up getting engaged to Eve's best friend, Noelle. So here we are. Now, this is already so complex, right? So it is a group of friends who have known each other. Now, Noelle is best friends with Winter, but Winter did not know. I'm assuming she didn't know Eve when she was in a relationship with Winter. And now she's engaged. And so she is planning her wedding. And that is such a complex set of emotions, where you want to be happy for your best friend. It's the happiest day. We are getting the love that she deserves. And she is like, okay, you are marrying a really good guy. I know his family. I know his stock. I know that he cares for you. I know what he's been through. I know what you've been through. I want to be there and be your maid of honor. I want to be so happy for you. But I am so riddled with grief and sadness about what my life could have been and what it was. And you're marrying what once was my family. You are marrying a man, and now he's going to be forever in your orbit of the man that I once loved. And so it is this really, really hard position for Eve to be in, and she's trying her best. And her friend knows it, but again, life. So that was one situation. And then now we're getting those flashbacks of time through, again, then, now, and always. Like, I love how A.E. Valdez is already writing this. She is writing this so we get their, we get them when they were happy. We're going to get them when they were at their lowest point. We're getting them now as strangers, and then we'll get the future. So we already know that Winter is the oldest brother, and he has suffered a loss, as well as his brothers, when their father passed away. And all of the world's expectations, all of the state of their livelihood when it came to what their business was going to do, it was left on his shoulders, and he buckled under the pressure, and reasonably so, right? The man that you've seen as your hero, the person that you wanted to emulate so much, has now left this earth, and now you're trying to fit into their shoes, and you just can't see a way out of your grief. And so Snow stepped up and became the CEO, and he lost Eve in the process. So right now I just finished a scene where it is the day of his father's funeral, and Eve is like trying to be there for the man. Like, she is making sure he's fed, she is listening to him, she is supporting him. And I'm assuming throughout this story we are going to see him pull more and more away from her until the point where they don't even recognize each other. And one thing I do trust is A.E. Valdez to write something so emotionally gripping and that it just like rips your heart out, like I said, but she's going to find a way to put it back in just the right place. So I am already locked in. I'll talk to y'all soon. To find the words to say. I am literally only on chapter 5 and the flashbacks are killing me. Oh, okay. So, first and foremost, I love that Eve has friends that will give her the real, right? And it's very interesting because they do it in such a different way. Aspen, she don't have no filter. She gonna slap you with the words coming out of her mouth, and it's not even just like a hit. Like, she is backhanding Eve, and to some degree it's what she needs, but baby, the deliverance is what's sending me. And it's funny because this just comes on the heels of Winter being in therapy and talking about how some people only know how to give tough love, and that's not necessary in every situation. And I'm like, A.E., I see what you're doing and it's landing. But then we go back, right, and we talk about Noelle, and Noelle is like so sugary sweet, and she's so nice and so caring, but she also knows how to say, hey, I'm in the middle of everyone and I just want my people to be good. However, like, were you too hard on Winter? Yes, because I see the man he is today. And context, right? Like, she sees him going to therapy. She sees him picking himself up and like leading the marketing firm. She sees the good in him. But A.E. goes and she says, let me go back and remind you, yes, you know the man he is today, but Eve went through the fire. And the scene that we just had was like where he up and disappeared in the middle of the night. And I don't mean like, oh, he just left to go to the bar to drink himself into a stupor, which would also be bad. No, this man packed up all of his things and left. Didn't say a word. And she's like, when someone finally realizes, oh yeah, we talked to him, and she's like, well, did he ask about me? No, he did not. Baby, you could have cut me in two, and it would have hurt a little bit less if I was her. Because what you mean? My fiance, the man I plan on dedicating my life to being with, did not think about me as he fled the life that we were planning to build together. Again, grief is something that Eve is not accustomed to, because I have an assumption that she still has her parents. I know she for sure in this time has her mom. Don't know about her dad. But again, everyone copes differently. Bro, this is hitting. A.E., I fear this may be my favorite book of yours. And that's coming after I've read A Worthy Love. So I'll come back to you with more. Good morning, y'all. I'm making some breakfast. I've got my coffee going, and I'm here to check in with you about Winter's Eve, Then Now Always. I'm 23% of the way in, and I feel like I'm checking in with you all a lot more than I normally have, but that's because I've got big feelings and big emotions about this. also wanted to show, last night I went and got my nails done. I probably should have had some B-roll, but I was too engrossed by this book because my emotions are all over the place. One minute I am feeling for Eve. I am really wanting her to stand her ground. I want her to be able to reclaim the love that she wants, but in the way in which she wants it. I'm feeling for Winter because, my gosh, that man and him and all of his trials and tribulations that he's gone through when it comes to grieving his father and handling the pressure of being the oldest and, you know, the pressure of what everybody wants. And that's the scene that I just had where he was letting it all out at his therapist. And the entire time we've been trying to figure out why he would just up and leave, like I told you all in the last clip. And he admits that part of it had to do with Eve as well. And I'm like, for her, she's thinking she's doing everything right. Like, I am here, I'm supporting you, I am trying to be your confidant, I am trying to be the person that you need me to be. And he's like, babe, I need time. And he's like, everything that everyone asks of me is for their own personal wishes and desires and not thinking about what I need. And I'm like, damn. It's not exactly how he said it, I'm paraphrasing, but I was like, I get it. Now we're fast forwarding to the time period of where we're at now, and Eve is the medical director of a pediatrics facility, and she needs financial capital because there are a lot of services that the children need that they currently don't have. And she is a self-proclaimed fixer, and she's like, what do I need to do to make sure that everybody gets what they need, that the children are properly served, and I can feel complete in my mission. And so she has to get some funding and some support, and she is going to this mayor's gala. And at the mayor's gala, they are having an auction, and my brain and my spidey senses are telling me what she is going to decide to do for her charity in particular is offer herself up on a date for the auction. And if that happens, I'm going to be in such bliss. And I have a feeling if that goes as I think it's going to go, that is going to be the date in which Winter and Eve fall back in love with one another. So let's stay tuned, and I'll let you know if my suspicions are correct. All right, y'all, it has been a hot minute since I updated y'all. Like, I don't even remember where I was in the book the last time I spoke to y'all, but we are now 2 hours from the end of the book. And I know the last time I spoke to y'all, I did tell y'all that I think that this would become my new favorite A.E. Valdez. I stand corrected. Nothing's unseating A Worthy Love. A Worthy Love is still top tier for me. This one is going to fall short of that, but still good. Right now, let me just kind of give you a little bit of brief synopsis. If y'all heard it before, fast forward a little bit. But we did get the situation where Winter bet on Eve in the auction, right? So she was like, yeah, I'm not signing up. Yeah, I'm not signing up. But her coworkers was like, nah, girl, if we going on dates, you going on dates too. And of course, while she is there, Winter is like, let me drop a meal on her. I bet you can't nobody top this. And they decide, okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna go on a date. It's gonna be for a good cause and for charity. However, Eve starts thinking, yeah, I'm not gonna go on it. And Winter is like, if you don't look, I've been the villain this entire time. You've made me the bad guy in the way that you tell the story. However, if you decide that you don't want to go on this date, I'm getting my meal back. And while that seemed shady, he knew she is a natural fixer. The entire reason that, from his point of view, that their relationship dissolved was because she tried to fix him. But he knows that's just her natural state is to fix things. And so because she wants to fix the financial problems that her pediatric center is having, he knows she's going to go on this date. But it becomes a little bit more complex because now, instead of it being a group date, Twisted Vines, the restaurant, has some capacity issues. And this becomes a very much, forced proximity, also kind of a one-bed trope, because something happens to where they have to wind up staying at the resort, and it just brings all of the emotion and all of the feelings and everything to the surface, and they kind of just let it all out in this moment. And I really, really appreciated two things. First thing is the fact that we know Eve is flawed, right? And I think that's probably my biggest stickler point. Like, I am a girl's girl. However, I like it when we are called out on our wrongdoings. And I appreciate when an author can say, yes, this woman is flawed, but she's still worthy. However, we got to let her know what her shortcomings are and make sure that she decides whether she's going to correct them or not. Because in this situation, not only did Winter tell Eve, hey, this is a part of the reason and why our marriage dissolved, and this is how I felt based on your actions. But she also gets a call from Noah, and Noah, who is her current boyfriend, was also like, yeah, bro, you're selfish. Like, and as a person who can very much see themselves being in a relationship and mishandling her man in a similar fashion, because I am trying to make sure I am prioritizing my needs, I can see me being a very situation to Eve, where that's why I can't be too hard on her. Like, while I want to say, baby, I am Team Winter. I've been Team Winter since book 1, and I was like, what is this woman on? Like, why is she fumbling this man? Again, you learn more once you're reading that person's book, but I really have to give her grace, because I can very much see her being in the same situation as her. So that's the first thing. I'm appreciative that this book is holding Eve to be accountable. I am also appreciating right now that they are now over the hump, and they're like, okay, well, we are soulmates. However, just because we're soulmates, that doesn't mean we know each other in the aftermath, right? We are completely two new human beings after this experience. We have had 10 years of life to live without one another and become and grow and turn into different people. And I want to get to know you for the woman you are today, and I want to get to know you for the man you are today. Like, I don't want to go in assuming, everything is copacetic and we can pick it back up. And that is a very, very hard thing to do, because when you just know that this is your person, y'all are meant to be, y'all love each other, and the love is there, you automatically just want to go on about things as though it's meant. But they are cognitively going in and saying, okay, we are going to court each other, we're going to date each other, we're going to get to know each other, we're going to be best friends again, we are going to work at this so that way we are unshakable and better than we were before. And I love that. So like I said, I got about 2 more hours to go, so I'm gonna see what unfolds and come back to you with some final thoughts on this book. Y'all, I know it's been a while since I saw you, because I'm on my 3rd nail color, but neither here nor there. It is time to wrap this up and talk about my final thoughts for Winter's Eve, Then Now Always. And the most important thing that I want to tell you is my favorite part about this book is not the romantic relationship between Winter and Eve. And I know you could be looking at me like, are you sure? It's a romance book. It's supposed to be about the FMC and the MMC. Yeah, the way that Miss A.E. Valdez wrote this book, she said, yeah, I'm going to give you the romance. Don't worry about it. What I want you to be here for is all the other relationships. Brotherly relationships, fostering relationships, friendships, like the importance of finding a therapist, like all of the other things that make humans, really whole in being on this planet is about relationships, and it's not just the romantic ones. And I want you to know I gathered so much from seeing everyone else, and really it was relationships that centered Winter. Again, Eve is cool. Don't get me wrong. I started off with Eve me and her having beef in Noelle's book. And then when I got here, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna let you rock, girl. I'm with you. Until I then heard Winter's side of the story. And you've heard me talk about it time and time again. That does not mean I'm not here for Eve. I just have a feeling that AE wrote this for the women and the men that needed to see Black male representation and how they need others to complete them as well. So here are my thoughts. Firstly, let me talk about one of the things that is so beautiful in this is being able to see brothers, Black men, be able to give affection to one another and for them to be able to show vulnerability. Like the relationship between Winter, who is the oldest brother, with Snow, and Winter with his relationship with North. It was so breathtakingly beautiful that I just had to sit here in awe at the way in which they, try to uphold their father's legacy and a mantle, right? That's, again, a lot of what the pressure Winter felt. But he never felt that from his brothers. He felt that from his own mind and his own mental state. And he put that pressure on himself. But Snow was like, hey, big bro, I'm going to take the load off from you. Like, I never want you to feel like a burden, even when you're at your lowest. And I'm also going through things. If you read Snow King Catches His Snowflake, you will see that he went through some things in life. He lost his fiance. Like, she passed away, and Snow had his own things that he was dealing with, but he was like, I'm always going to be here for my brother. Like, no matter what. If he is going through something, it doesn't matter what I'm going through. I love him and I want him to be here. And so, like, that entire dynamic of Snow saying you were never someone that I couldn't look up to. You were everything that I needed and more. Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it because their relationship and their brotherhood was so strong. He was like, he went so far as to say, I'm going to give you an ultimatum just to show you how much I love you. All of this can go away if you don't get your act right. I'm willing to sacrifice everything I have for you, to pull you out and pull you in and pull you close. Like, that relationship came through in this book. Being able to see them show, not only be vocal in their vulnerability, but to show their emotion and their love for one another through, like, hugs, kisses on the forehead, like that type of, comfort and being able to express it physically and verbally. Like, it just was such a beautiful dynamic between the brothers. And I would say if you have a man in your life that you want them to be able to see, like, thugs cry too. Like, you wanted them to be able to see, like, bromances are cool. You want them to see the power of therapy and finding a Black male therapist that you could connect with and vibe with, and then meeting you where they are. This is the book. Like, I can't tell you how, restorative it is to read someone else get the help that they need. Being able to see a man talk to another man and gain perspective, gain insight, and it not be a competition and not be feeling like you're sacrificing anything, but you're talking to a friend and y'all are pouring into one another. Like, I love seeing Winter find someone that he could connect with who had been in the same situation and then offer a way to actually work through that. Like, not only talking about it, but how do you get pieces of yourself back? And his therapist was able to recommend one of the things that I felt like is the shining star of this book, the relationship that probably matters the most, and that is the relationship that Winter finds with Rain. Now, Rain, I can't believe I've gone this entire time without talking about him. Rain is a 17-year-old young man that is in high school, that is in this program for teens and children who have lost loved ones and who have experienced some sort of grief or tragedy. And in this, Rain is he is in this program because he has lost his father, and his father was a firefighter and he died in the line of duty, right? So that adds a lot of complexities to this already dynamic. You have a 17-year-old boy who is, coming up in the world without a father. He is feeling like a burden to his grandmother. He is going through puberty and having a lot of changes within himself, and then to add on all of those layers. And for Winter to be able to find a relationship and that he could pour back into someone else. He could be, vulnerable without having to feel guilty, because this young man also was going through that. And Winter was able to put all of his, troubles to the side, because he felt like he could step in and be a big brother again. And he found purpose in that. And being able to see their relationship just be so natural and organic, and not be weird, it not be forced, it just, flow. And not only did Rain have that dynamic with Winter, and it felt like that found family, they took it a step further by bringing Rain into the fold with all of the other King brothers and making him feel like a little brother. And then you continue to see that dynamic grow, and how much love Winter realized he still had left to give, what his purpose was going to be in life, and being able to come back into a sense of joy. This is what made this book so special. May not necessarily be my favorite in terms of a romance relationship, but it is my favorite in terms of like the growth and maturity of her characters. Love this down bad. We'll be reading the next one and the final one in the series, which is North Book with Aspen. I'm going to ask you all to do me a favor. Leave me a snowflake, or tell me what your favorite book is centering therapy. And I'll talk to y'all next time. Bye.